everybody, it's Davi Davenport with the Davenport Realty Group. With 20 years of experience, every day agents ask me about all kind of things. Today, I want you to stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to run that perfect open house. Now, the first thing that you're thinking to yourself, what's the actual goal of the open house? Now, the open house is almost like a fashion show for the property. It's when you have the opportunity to debut the property to not only the neighbors, but to people that you don't know or people that you want to meet. You're thinking to yourself, with the open house, Davi, do I clean the house myself? Do I move the furniture around? Or what exactly do I do? How do I sell this house? Now, the first thing that I want to say to you for sure is make sure you have a great interaction with the seller. If you're thinking about you want to move some furniture around, if I were you, I might ask them to help me or actually to have someone else do it. Staging is so important. You don't have to get a stager necessarily. You might want to take the seller's property and stage the home. Get them involved with that. Make that something that you guys have a great experience with. Always interact with the seller closely on any modifications that you want to make. If you want to move their furniture around, you never know, something might be really special to them. So be careful. Now, when you think about the guest coming in the home, we've already talked about, do I clean the home? Do I move furniture around? Well, what about when the guests come in? Should I have them take their shoes off? And what's the etiquette with that? Now, you know what? It just depends. If there's carpet in the house, I say 100% have them take their shoes off. And then also ask the seller. So many people they just don't want to bring the germs from the outside in. And the goal is always to keep that home in a pristine way. What's so exciting is the open house is also a line of communication with you and the world. You might ask, how do I follow up with the guests that came to the home that day? We always say that 48 hours is too long and 24 hours is just enough. When they sign into that sheet, you want to make sure that you're asking them, how did that go? Is there any additional information that they'd like to share? Now, not only is that good for meeting new clients, but it's also a way for you to communicate with the seller. The seller wants to know, how did the open house go? And the best way ever is for you to directly tell them how the visitors felt about the home. Now, if you've done your job, and we always know that we want to do the very best that we can, then we want to make sure that not only does the seller feel fantastic, but those guests that came through feel amazing also. Here's another thing that I want to make sure that you are very, very on top of, and that's safety. Get a tag team member, guys. It's so much fun. I always say, bring a friend with you. Bring a fellow realtor. That's a great opportunity for you not only to make sure that you're nice and safe, it's also an opportunity for one of you to be showing one of the guests a part of the house and for you to be at the front door inviting people in, or vice versa. This is a chance for you to maximize all the excitement at your open house. Now, what makes a great open house? A great open house is when you've done everything that you can. That's arriving at the property early. I highly recommend at least an hour. Making sure that you're placing signs all around the area, generally about a 2-block radius, but you know what? It varies from agent to agent. So for your first open house, or maybe this is your 20th open house, guys, whatever you do, you are the brand and you want to represent yourself in a way that not only does your seller feel amazing, but you feel fantastic about yourself also. You know what's exciting about an open house? An open house is when you actually set the tone. What's the vibe for your open house? What's the feeling? Should I have music? Should I have bottled waters there? Should I have my logo on the top of my sign-in sheet? The vibe is a way that you show the world and everyone that's coming into that home exactly who you are. Now, branding is everything as a realtor, and that's one of the greatest opportunities for you to brand yourself. So when you think about the vibe, you want the vibe to be something that matches who you are. Does that mean that if you love rock and roll, that you're gonna have it blaring through the house? Absolutely not. What that means is that you want something that's going to be neutral. If you do decide to play music, maybe I'm just going to get something that I use, maybe a soft jazz, maybe something contemporary, but whatever you do, guys, just make sure that You can hear the clients talking. So when I think about an amazing open house, I think about how do I want this to represent me? What do I want the open house to say about Davi Davenport as a realtor? Just put your name inside of there and it will mean the same thing. What do you want everyone to feel about you, and what vibe did you present? If your open house is exciting, if your open house is informative, and if your open house makes the seller feel incredible, not only will that seller do what? Think about referring you to someone else, but also the neighbors in the area, when they realize that you're a dynamo, that they just might ask you, would you represent them also? Now, wouldn't that be a great opportunity? I absolutely think so. So that's all I have for running that perfect open house. Now, make sure you stay tuned because there's more tips here on how to run that perfect open house.